Hello everybody, welcome back to SnowRunner, my hard mode playthrough in Imandra, and we're going to make a start at Star in the Sky. I expect this to be multi-episode contract. I'm in the Tatra Phoenix, as you can see. This fuel carrier trailer is the one at the far northwest power station that we've drawn fuel from it a couple of times. It's about half full, so it's got about 1,000 litres in it, and I've deliberately left it at that location because I know I have to go in there with medium logs. But while I was thinking about how to approach this mission, which I need to do before I can do logging, I just decided worry about the mission that you're currently working on, and then see what fuel is left, and either redistribute what's left to allow logging to then succeed, or buy in more fuel. So let's focus on the thing we got. So what I'm doing is basically taking the Tatra Phoenix with this fuel carrier trailer down to the airport where I can pick up the wide semi-trailer and then take it down to the location where the aircraft parts are. And obviously you can tell, obviously I am in the Tatra Phoenix with a high saddle on. And I've talked a fair bit about which high saddle truck I would use. It's been suggested that the ANK Civilian may be good. The Taiga may be good. In a previous episode, when I meant to go and get the armoured cars with a wide trailer, I stuck a crane and a high saddle on this Tatra Phoenix, and it towed that trailer really well. So I'm just going to see how it does. If I had both the money and the upgrades to feel comfortable doing it, I'd probably be trying to do this in one of the probably the flat-faced big Kolob, but I do not have the money at the moment spare to buy that vehicle. So I'm going to give this a go as it is, and then I've always got the Civilian and Taiga as alternate options if this goes badly. I haven't got the crane on because I'm assuming that the aircraft parts are too big for this crane to manage. So this truck is just going to do the high saddle. I didn't want the extra weight on the vehicle for having that crane fitted. So yeah, that's the game plan. Get down to the airport with this fuel, refill myself. I believe the delivery location is the airport. Would make sense for the airplane parts, but yeah, the airport is a central enough location that I don't mind having fuel there, and at the moment there's none there at all, and I'm pretty sure that I would need some. Thank you very much, quite a lot of comments today, much appreciated, and it's been pointed out that some of the aircraft parts overhang that wide trailer, so when you're picking your route it's really easy to get stuck on power poles and trees. So that's useful information for me when I'm trying to think about what route, and I don't really know the route I'm going to take, to be honest. I'm going to see what it's like getting there on a route. There's like a really long safe option, which is basically to reverse what I've just done and go all the way around to the garage from the airport and just keep going all the way around the outside of the map in a anti-clockwise direction from the airport, and you'll end up down at the lake where the aircraft parts are. That's safe and slow and probably the last resort. I'm going to try, and in a minute I'll draw out what I'm going to try as a route. But yeah, I expect this to be at least 2, maybe 3 episodes, if I'm lucky, because it does look like it's a complete pain of a mission. If those parts overhang and you can't weave your way through trees, it's going to be quite difficult, I think. And of the vehicles I've got, I feel like this Phoenix is the most capable high saddle that I've got at the moment. And the only thing against it really is, why is there even a question? It's a bloody good truck. The only thing against it really is that for the size of the truck it's got relatively small tyres on it, so they don't ride over some terrain. But in a lot of ways, it kind of behaves, you know, it's 8x8 and it's got snow chains on. It kind of behaves a little bit like a cab over Tatarin. So it does pull pretty well. You know, it's pulling a dolly trailer with 3 axles through this snow, and not giving me too much trouble. And lots of trucks just struggle with this type of trailer through any kind of a drag, mud or snow. Yeah, I'm reasonably confident that this truck will do a good job of this high saddle work. And then the other part of the equation is how you load the aircraft parts onto the trailer. And what I'm gonna try, I didn't want to bring the Paystar in. If I bring the Paystar in, it's going to be full of fuel, because I actually think I will end up needing that anyway. But if I bring the Paystar, I would be bringing it in full of fuel, transferring that into trailers, and then going off and doing high crane stuff with it, large crane stuff with it. But what I've done is I've paid $7,500 for the yellow Russian crane, and I've stuck it for now on the S04E24, and I'm going to try and drive the Azov down that snowy west path and see if I can get the Azov down to the air, because it doesn't have to drive around a lot, it just has to get to each of the aircraft parts. And although I haven't got the active suspension, I'm hopeful that it'll cope with that. And the Azov will have the little Zix metal detector on the end of a tow rope behind it. And that's my game plan, basically. And we'll see how it goes. But step one is to get to the airport, drop this trailer off, fill myself up with fuel, and try and get the big trailer down to the pickup location at the lake. And once I get there, I need to confirm where these parts have to be dropped off, but I am assuming that they have to be dropped off back at this airport. So it's basically, what's the route for large vehicle, difficult cargo, wide cargo, to get back to this location. So I'll leave that trailer there, detach it, get myself on the big trailer, and then refuel. So I think this truck looks alright in that situation. There's a bit of ground clearance on the legs of that trailer. It's a bit janky camera, I'm just trying to get around this side. There's a little bit of ground clearance, what, half a meter maybe, of ground clearance. Yeah, I'm reasonably hopeful that this will pull it okay. So refuel. And then if and when we finish this contract, if there's any fuel left in that trailer, I'll take it back the other way to the garage for the logging stuff. See how it goes. So let's have a quick talk about route. So I need to get here, and there's some nasty terrain. I don't really know that I like any of it, but I think I'm going to try, because I did this in reverse, admittedly in a much smaller vehicle. If I can get through these trees, then I think I can pull this trailer up this path. Across this ice, I think. I'm definitely steering clear of this rocky path. That's just madness. I don't like that at all. I'm not even thinking about trying to do that. So really it's a case of these trees and whether or not I can get through those trees with wide cargo as well. But and then down here, and so I've got some fuel at that camp, so maybe around there through that camp and down to the pickup place. That's what I'm thinking. And there may be an option of doing this sort of shortcut, what looks like a shortcut. I know it's ice, but I've got chains, so it may be an option, at least while I'm empty, of doing that shortcut route, but it depends on how badly I need fuel. And maybe one of those fuel carriers being left down near the aircraft wreck. And I can already see, I know I've got to do the metal detecting, but it actually disappeared the more I zoomed in. I can see a bit of an airplane here. I can see a bit of an airplane there. And I know, just because map runner, that the other one is here. Ish, roughly. So I think the game plan today is to see if this route works, to get myself down to this location to advance the quest to the next stage. And then, yeah, it does say deliver to the airport. So although I can't activate that step yet until I've got this trailer down there, it does say deliver them to the airport. So I have, once I've loaded up the trailer, I've got to get back to the airport, and either that route works and I can do it and then get through the trees, or you'd pretty much have to go all the way around here, all the way around the map, and that would be frightfully dull, wouldn't it? So I'm going to try and avoid that. See how we do. Daylight's wasting. Let's get on with it. So variables, I don't know if I've got the right route, I don't know if I've got the right truck, but I do believe that shy of buying a truck, I've got the best, I think the best of my current fleet for high saddle work. And we'll see. And I think this first part of the route is the biggest question mark, is can I get through the trees down to that little camp? And let's not jackknife the bloody thing before I've even left the runway. So, can I get down through these trees? Let's just get some help from the winch. It is definitely something like there that I'm going to need to try and get down, isn't it? And if fuel wasn't an issue, I'd have something like the Caterpillar, the one I'm currently using as a fuel bunker, on the front of this as a big old tractor unit, giving the Tatra some help. But fuel is an issue. There's quite a lot of trees here that will not push out the way, so trying to do this in reverse might, with a wide cargo, might be a challenge. I want my farming sim train saw, please. Yeah, I'm caught on a tree there already, look. At the moment, I don't seem to be able to get far enough to the right to get past it. I'll try and hug these two on the right and see if I can get past that one. Yeah, I can't afford the fuel for this. Chainsaw, please. I mean, it looked tight, but I figured that I would be able to get through it. Quite a lot more fuel gone on that than I would want to use, though. And this is, that definitely means that I can't get through those trees with the wide cargo. If the cargo is overhanging the side of this trailer, there's no path through those trees I'll be able to use. So I'm going to try something different. Did I say 2 or 3 episodes? It might be 1 episode just to get the bloody trailer down there. Let's see if I can pull the trailer over a bit to get it past that power pole. And then I'm basically changing my route, and I'm going to try and let's clear the route completely. And I'm going to try the ice as a way of getting to here, and from then on the same route that I had planned before. because this is, I know there's rocks and rubbish here, but this is wide enough to come through with a wide cargo on. Lights on, coming in the dark. They just seem bright. But I've got to go far enough to get past... Oh, hang on a minute, a little bit of a... No, 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 no. Don't do that. Yeah, settle down, mate. There was a little bit of a jackknife. So I'd have to... this would be a hard part. I'd have to basically get up from the ice on a fairly steep incline. Yeah, that was a little bit of sliding on the ice then with this trailer weight, I think. I was just a little bit careless while I was thinking about getting off the road down to this ice. So, yeah, be careful with that. Now that we've got there, I'll turn the engine off and remark my route. So I think I'm going to try and come all the way around the ice to here. And then up this trail. There is a pretty steep bit, so coming through specifically here might be a challenge. It's going to depend on the luck of trees being there for me. Across this, that's a little bit mushy, if I remember rightly. So we'll see how we do. And then across here, and I think I will try this route through this. I know it's ice, but we'll see. It looks too easy, right? On the map when I draw it like that. Just align my map north properly. It looks a bit too easy. So we'll see if in 1 hour's time I'm pulling my hair out and we're still struggling to get anything done in the episode. Quite rocky here. What are these poles in the ground? Is that being some kind of a pilings for a dock or something? Is that mooring points? Looks like a little bit of a jetty or a dock there. Yeah, okay, so that beach is a bit gnarly because of the rocks, but yeah, it's quite nerve-wracking stuff, this. Lights are on, sorry for disturbing your sleep. And then this is now back into, I don't know, I've driven this in Scouts. I don't know that I've driven it in anything big. We are in auto burst. I'll drop it into diff lock. It was in all-wheel drive already. So I think there are two dodgy areas for this route. One is you can just about see at the top of the screen, there's a pretty steep ascent here. So our success on that ascent will depend on trees mostly, I think. And then there's a bit of ground that I'm not sure if it's a bit too mushy to drive on. And therefore, I'm not entirely sure whether I'll be able to skirt it. So this is one bit that I am worried about. But actually, so far so good. That's a decent tree. So if I get something off the trailer onto that tree, that should give me the leverage to get up. Yeah, I think my back axle, it's a shame it's so dark. I think my back axle is basically floating. I'm also stuck to the tree a little bit as well. So I'm definitely not coming back through this narrow gap with a wide trailer, am I? With wide cargo. So this route isn't, even if I manage to get this route to work for getting up there, it's not going to get me out again, which is a problem. But I'm so grateful for that comment, because I wouldn't really have thought about the fact that things overhang. So my return route needs to not go through that narrow gap, for sure. So this bit is where I'm coming into what I think might be crumbly ice in a pool. And then again, look, that's a pretty narrow, gnarly bit, isn't it? Yeah. Not confident. It's a small tree. I want a big tree if you don't mind. Any big trees up there? Let's just let it pull the small trees out until it finds a big tree. This is a bit of madness. No way. No way. I don't see me getting that trailer up through there. Not with this truck. Engine off. Options, please. So I'm sure that's no better. If anything, it's going to be worse. I may have to go this long route. Oh no, that gully doesn't look quite so bad from here. Can we have a look at it? Should we poke a nose in? If I don't like it, I'll have to reverse it out, but... It's ice rather than braking. And it's fairly wide. So that might work in both directions. So what's this then? Nope, that's a bit narrow there, isn't it? Bit narrow and a massive drop. Oh boy. Oh boy. Am I gonna... See if that'll back it out, isn't it? Oh, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, what have I done? Why did I do that? Why did I think that might work? So small trees. I'm not getting back, am I? And I'm certainly not getting forward because I'm floating in the air. I am detaching the truck and I'm going to have to go back and get the trailer from the other side. That was a mistake. Well, certainly not the truck's fault. That's just a daft maneuver. So now I've got to somehow get back to the other side. I suppose the good news is that I'm near the fuel, so I may as well fill myself up. I'm going to go this way and try and get back and pull it back out enough that I can attach to it. That was just that was a mistake, so I should not have done that. It's one of the things I like about this game. I know you can glitch it and in my opinion exploit the save system, but I like the fact that there's no save and reload option. So really it's a case of if you get yourself in trouble, you've got to get yourself out of it. We got to do this 3 times. Got to get this trailer down there 3 times. Madness. There's a path there I can take for this without a trailer, I think. Again, you're not coming down this lane with a wide load on. They've really boxed in the options you've got, haven't they? Now I've got to hope that I can drag this trailer out. Or push it forward, I suppose. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's pretty well wedged. These things, these semi-trailers with legs on the front don't really tow very well. But I got the benefit it's on ice, I suppose. I may end up driving all the way around the map. Well, that's about 10 minutes wasted time by trying that route, but at least I've got my trailer back. So, engine off. Can kind of see what might be a route for me, but for now I just need to get through here. Get to a point. If I can turn from here across that snow, that might work. To get down to that village through what is a fairly wide passage. So that might work to get to the village. But I don't think going back through this way with the trailer will work with wide cargo, so that might have to be another way of getting to the beach. I want to get one of the wings. I want to get one of the parts on today and try the reverse route, because otherwise, you guys, the whole episode will just be me trying to get there without any recovery. But bearing in mind, I've got to drive the crane and metal detector down yet. So this is wide enough for the truck. But not wide enough to come through with overhang. And then here, I can go around the trees out into the snow, and I think this truck can cope. I'll whack it into low. Coming into daylight again. It's also difficult for me to tell with content like this how much of it I can time lapse, because obviously, you know, the stuff where I got myself stuck doing something silly won't be a time lapse because it's exciting, but like this where I'm doing what, 6 or 7 miles an hour. This is doing better through this type of snow than I expected, to be honest. With a trailer on, I think this truck is living up to what I'd hoped it would achieve so far. Touch wood. And I wouldn't have staged this vehicle down at the aircraft, because I think driving there with this trailer is as much part of the mission as picking up the parts and driving back. But obviously, if I find a route that ends up being trivial, anything trivial on this map? I'm going to top up again. If I find a route that ends up being trivial, then I may end up time lapsing fair bit of the second and third journeys if it's repetition. But yeah, I don't think I'll time lapse an awful lot of this first trip. There's my destination. My Azov with the crane on it and the metal detector are both at the garage. So I've got to bring those down from the garage area. I can see a piece of an airplane in that lake there, and it looks massive. So it is a bit of a worry, but yeah, I can see it. So I know I don't necessarily need the metal detector to find that one, but I might need it to loosen it and pick it up, I suppose. Right, down here, this ice looks fine. Don't slide into the lake though. So that's the first part done. I am here with the trailer that they want me to, so let's have a look at what the contract says now. Deliver the wings back to the airport, or deliver the parts to the airport. My map's got turned around again somehow. I do prefer to keep it north oriented. I think the next thing now is to get down here with a metal detector. This episode is already long enough that that might be all I manage. But unless I do longer episodes for this, that doesn't feel right. So I filled up the Azov with the trailer that I took to the airfield. That's the trailer that came from up here. So the Azov and the Zix have both got full tanks. And I think that crane... I know I'm a little bit worried about the terrain for this Azov, but we'll see. And I'm going to take the Zix on a tow rope. And then my route down, maybe I'll just come through here to here and then do this route. Not sure what that ice is like. And at some point here, maybe pick up the ice instead of staying on the trail. Depends on what the trail looks like. So yeah, let's get on with it. Into the Azov. I think, well, I've just bought this cranes for 7,500. So this is the first time I've used this yellow crane, but I'm assuming it's got similar sort of power characteristics to the red, what I call the American crane. Chuck that on there. I will try to avoid using the engine to save some fuel on the Zix. The Zix looks massive, doesn't it? I know it's only a four-wheeler, but the Azov always looks smaller than it feels when you're driving it. I know I say that every time I get in it, but lights on. And we'll get this down and see what this drive is like. And at least for this, like this is, I have to only do this once, drive down, find the three things, load them up with the crane, drive back, put it in the garage, as I've done on the map. So this one, at least I'm not going backwards and forwards. And we already know the Azov is a good truck. It just, the things I've tried doing it on this map so far, it would have benefited a lot from that active suspension, which I'm not going to get until Amur. I was hoping that it would just maintain momentum in high, but no. So it's hunting gears a little bit through this stuff. It's quite funny how heavily I relied on this truck in Tamir, and then I've hardly used it here, where it's a lot more rocky, a lot more troublesome for the chin overhang. I've never driven down this road, I don't think. I don't remember driving down this road. But this is a potential route with the aircraft parts if I decided to go all the way around the map, if I can't find anything for the wide overhang. The road goes up that way. I want to look at what the ice is like to see if I can get past it on this crusty edge, because I would rather stay on the ice if it's passable, because good ice is a better road than a bad road, if that makes sense. Right, a bit rocky here. Yeah, this is the stuff the chin is a bit less comfortable with. Put the engine on the... I don't suppose it's got the power to push me. I'll try it. Sometimes the push is more the thought that counts. No. Don't think it's got the power to drag me out either. Kinda got myself stuck. Just see what the Azov can do on its own. Maybe a bit of a pull from front. We'll just loosen it enough. Don't be stuck too. Just boggy mud, isn't it? That's part of the trap. Up to your axles in mud. And nothing to winch to. Although it's a bit more stuck than I might have expected it would be. Trying to get it moving sideways enough to get a bit of purchase. I don't even think this crane can do anything. Activate the crane. Don't bother with any legs. Certainly can't push it the way I've pushed myself in other places before. And I'm just wondering if I put it all the way out to the side and then extend it, and I kind of unbalance myself enough to move. Don't like this bit. It's just mud. Mud and big rocks. Don't like it. I want a bulldozer. Just give me a bloody bulldozer. Stop messing about and give me a bulldozer. So I'm moving, but it seems a bit weird, doesn't it? Just how stuck this is. How mad is this? It's just death mud. Death mud plus rocks. Fell right into it, didn't I? Trying to maneuver enough to try and get my chin. My chin's just digging into that rock because I'm up to my axles in mud. Seeing if I could push myself a little bit, but no. This crane doesn't go low enough. I've been through this in the Tatooine and it didn't obviously have these problems because it's a Tatooine.
One eternity later.
I don't know how much destabilising myself intentionally with that crane has actually helped, but little Zix has done me proud there. And now I was going to tip the thing over on this ice. Let's be careful. Little Zix. I'll tow it backwards for a minute because it won't hurt. And I'll turn its engine up as well. And then try and not tip. That's a pretty steep bit of ice, so I'm going to try and stay... Oh, this episode is already too long. It's mad. Oh, did a bit of damage to me Zix. I don't like that. I likes me Zix. No. I'm going to treat it like it's somebody else's truck. This is me Zix. Get back on your wheels, mate. Alright, crane. I'm not abusing the Zix. This thing's done me proud. So how does that work then? I picked it up by one side, and it rolled the other way. So the rope, basically the rope clipped through it, and it rolled the wrong way. And then I want you to turn around so I can put your nose on, and then I'll get you on a tighter rope so I don't abuse you like that again. I don't want to abuse. The crane. Coming out of crane mode seems to hit that escape quite a lot. Don't roll over again. I'm going to try and get you on a tighter rope and just look after you a bit better then. It's funny, isn't it, how it upsets you that one of the trucks you like gets a bit of damage. How many trucks do I put on a tow rope and just destroy as I'm towing them somewhere? But when it's my truck and I like that truck, a different story. Right, so there's no route. Well, there is a route across there, but I'm not taking it. I'm basically coming around this way. There's a fuel trailer up here somewhere. A scout fuel trailer, which I left there hoping that logging would make use of it, but I've got more important needs at the moment. Yeah, there's the fuel trailer, and I'm going to turn left at this T-junction after I've slurped a bit of fuel out of this trailer for both vehicles. So, refuel. There's not much left, mind. No, I won't empty it, but 256 litres left. Engine off. So what I'm going to do now is down to the logging camp and down this side, because I know there's a thing here and I can use the metal detector on it, and maybe bring the trailer in and maybe do this one first. Helicopter's just buzzing me. Yeah, so again, this isn't a route for a wide trailer. Feels like there aren't that many options for wide trailer, to be honest. This recording is already so long. Right, so there's a mix of ice and boggy water here. Ice good, boggy water bad. That's the logging camp. I believe there might even be a little bit of fuel. Yeah, there's a little bit of fuel in a scout fuel carrier in there. Not a lot, but there's a bit. I do love this as of still. Right, back on track. Providing this icy edge doesn't give me any trouble. So I'm not entirely sure where it is, but there's a piece of airplane somewhere near here. Handbrake, engine off. I can hear a bear roaring in the hills there. Change into the ZX. I know the engine needs to be running. So let's, where are we on the map? Let's metal detect now. Yeah, so there's one. There's one piece. Have a little look with a crane for a lap. Not sure if I'll bring it and load it up now. I certainly won't be able to take it back in this duration of episode. But that's what the crane's here for. Let's see how this crane does with lifting a piece of this plane out. Oh, that's well deep, isn't it? You can't see that without... Just about to see the shadow of something there. Crane mode. Legs. Legs just about on the ice. That's as low as I can go. So that's a wing segment. So I assume when that's on the trailer, that won't overhang too much. There might be that I've got different routes for different parts of the... Balance is funny, doesn't it? Kind of artificially balanced just perfect. Doesn't look right. But anyway, not going to complain. Right, so that's that piece. And I'm just going to drop it down here for a minute. So it's out of the water, and I'll think about putting it on the truck. And then change into the ZX. Let's go just get the other two tagged. Give me a chance to check out the ice around this, because I've not driven... I came as far as where those cabins are previously with the Tatterin, because I dragged one of those skiddy porta cabin things out. I'm not quite sure how close I have to be, but let's just see how well I do, and if I feel comfortable taking the big trailer down this route. Oh, that went... I thought that was going to sink then, but it's just one of the bits of ice flipped. Made it feel like I was going to sink. That's quite a long way, isn't it? Don't know about bringing the big trailer all the way around this side. am I? I think I'm too far away, but I can select something there. I can see a thing there, look. But I think I'm too far away for the metal detector to count. Probably got to get up in that hill. But let's try it. Doesn't cost fuel apart from sitting there with the engine on idle. No, I didn't think so. So it's not showing me it, even though, yeah, I'm not close enough. Fine. This is a fairly precarious route. I suppose I reckon I probably could bring the Tatra through here. That big trailer on, but it's a bit of a risk with whether the trailer started sliding sideways. How do I feel about bringing the Azov along with the crane? How do I feel about bringing the Azov with a crane and the wing part hanging off the crane while I'm driving along? That sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it? I love it. Right then, Phoenix, me old mate. How you doing? At least it's good ice so far. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I thought I saw more of this with a level of distance from a distance. I can see it there. Obviously, you can see the tail section. Operate. So there's that one. That's the biggest piece, I assume, because it looks massive. That's the fuselage. That's part of a wing with an engine on it. On the port side. So I assume that the wing that we pulled out, which didn't have an engine on it, was from that same side. Because on the task, it says that there's a wing fragment with engine, part of the fuselage, and then part of the wing. So I think what we found didn't have a part of an engine on it. So how do I get up in here before I start driving around madly? It's going to be like something like this, isn't it? Oh, beautiful. Well done, devs. Well played, sir. I'll get a big trailer up in there. You're having a laugh, mate. Careful. Don't knock your suspension out completely. So up here then, I suppose. Maybe this is close enough. Let's just chance it. Nope. Alright then. Alright, mate, let's do it. If that's the way you want to play it. Let's just chance it. So, in this episode, if all I can achieve, and based on time it will be all I can achieve, is getting the recovery vehicles there for the first recovery, and scouting and finding the location of all three parts. That's like part one of this. I'm going to assume that I'm only going to recover one part per episode following on from that, because there's a lot of driving backwards and forwards. So unless I get pretty heavy on the time lapses and maybe even cuts, which I don't want to do. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I use time lapses quite heavily, but I have reduced the amount of cuts I do significantly. Yeah, that's obviously, that is it, but I'm definitely got to be close enough to scan it now, haven't I? Metal detector. There, I found it. I don't see the point in the metal detector. If you've got to be sat so that you're actually looking at the thing, what's the point of having a metal detector module? It should have more range on it. That's the only thing I'm going to complain about on this so far. It seems silly. to be able to have to be that close that you can already see the thing. But there's no point having a metal detector. I might as well just drive in and pick it up. I want the metal detector to give me visibility of stuff, like a bit like the seismic survey thing does. I want to be within a radius and it tell me where the thing is. Obviously we don't all get what we want, but I can still complain about it. Yeah, so potentially we're talking like 4-part contract in episode duration length, unless I do a lot of time lapse and maybe cuts. So yeah, quite the contract. Logging is just time consuming because you got to drive backwards and forwards, and if you've got fuel it's not difficult to do. So the Zix's job on this map is finished now. Just got to get it back to garage. It's identified all 3 parts. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my heart rate just jumped then. It'd be funny, I should have a BPM, heartbeats per minute monitor and a little window in the game on the video, so you can see when something like that happens and suddenly I go from a resting heart rate of about 60 up to 120. What the hell's going on? That'd be funny, I think. So I'm driving this out just because, but I think I am going to be leaving this episode here. I actually feel alright because I haven't found the route that I'm going to use on the return yet, but I've certainly found some bits of route that I'm not going to use, and that in itself is an outcome. So I feel alright about that. I've found all 3 parts. They're all tagged. I can see them. You know, there they are. That's the 3 pieces I've got to pick up. I've got my 2 recovery vehicles in the area. I feel that that's a decent little bit of progress, but I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be a tedious 3 episodes of driving. I'll park this in here for a minute. Well done, little Zix, you're a champ. Yeah, so we'll just have to see whether or not I'll see how difficult it is for the next one. I'll probably pick up the fuselage first, bring the crane through, pick up the fuselage, and try and get possibly the hardest part done first, and then it's a bit downhill. I might be able to get the hardest part done in 1 episode and then both of the other parts done in the 2nd episode. We'll see how it goes, but it's certainly going to be at least 2 episodes to get those 3 parts back, and it might end up being 1 each. So good stuff. So I'm going to leave this episode here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll be looking forward to seeing how I manage to get stuck 5,000 times between here and the airport in the next episode, no doubt. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you and goodbye.